Hello and welcome to my newsletter video series aimed at helping you build web applications. Now in this video, we'll start with the August 2017 Code Challenge. Okay, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the code challenge for my courses, and to find this blog link, which has the details of the code challenge, you can go to mashrurhossain.com and then click on blog, and there you go. There's the first one, August 2017 Code Challenge. And this is going to be one of a few videos that I'll release over the next few weeks. Now, the first step is to think about the project as a whole, okay? So the idea is to build a market application, and the theme is Sunday Fresh Foods, but that could be anything. But basically, you need to build an application that will have a home page, that will have authentication features, that'll have an admin feature so you can maintain the app. But the main ERD part of it is right here, okay? You're going to have categories, you're going to have products, and you're going to have sellers. So sellers are going to list products for sale that they're going to have. Now, this is not an e-commerce application, okay? You're simply going to list the products you're going to put for sale in the Sunday market, which will be a physical market. And the products will have categories also. So sellers will list products that will have categories. So you can basically search for products by categories, or you can search for sellers, or you can search for products. All three ways you can basically look at what is for sale at this market, okay? So something to help with the management of this market application. Now, there are other parts to it. Once the application is built, you're going to need to build at least one seller's bio. That could be your own bio page as well. And this is going to focus on more of the marketing aspect of how to basically have an online presence as a developer or a marketer or a seller. And then the second part is actual marketing, which involves creating a YouTube video. This is a bonus. If you create a little YouTube video on how the application works, that'll be very good and additional points there. And this is a group project. If you don't have a group yet, you can click on this link, which will take you to the live chat, and there you can find other people looking for team members. And there's also a link to the Google Doc right here, and if you click on it, you will see there are other teams which have listed if they're looking for team members, etc., etc. All that info is there, so I would recommend taking a look at that. Okay. All right, so now back to the challenge. The first part, and what we're going to discuss today, is thinking of the ERD. And we're going to focus on products, we're going to focus on categories, and sellers. So you have to think of an ERD for it, an entity relationship diagram. So let's take a look. So here you go, products, categories, sellers. You can think of product details. Product will have, obviously, name. Product can have quantity that you may use later. It would have an image of the product. Categories would have name, what kind of associations you're looking for with product. For example, a category can have many products. A product can belong to multiple categories. So you see how many-to-many associations forming there. Then seller. Think of sellers as users. You can also have a user's resource in this application and seller be a type of user. Okay, you can also have buyers, you can have clients if you want to build it out later on. So it might also be a good idea to start this off as user instead of seller and just have an attribute there which indicates whether it's a seller or a buyer or an admin or something like that. Okay, so what about the tables? Let's take a look at the tables. So here's what I've come up with. And for product, you're looking at a products table, remember, plural, okay? Product model, singular, and you're going to have name, maybe amount of products, summary. As you know, the ID will be automatically assigned by Rails if you're using Rails. If you're using something else, then, take a look at how ID is assigned in the tables for that application. For seller, I'm thinking name, email, password, then number of employees that the organization has. You could have other things that you might find useful. Category, thinking about the different types of categories of products that can exist, like audio, video, sports, outdoors, kitchen, automotive. These are just examples, so you can do whatever you want here. And if you're looking for what kind of implementation this would have or how to build the associations, let's take a look at 2 examples, okay? One is the My Recipes app. So here's the My Recipes app GitHub repo. Obviously, this is open source. You can look at the relationship between ingredients, recipes, and chefs, okay? Chef being the seller or user, ingredient being the category, and recipe being the product. So if you look at the recipe model, you will see it belongs to chef, and product will have to belong to the seller. So that's one way of thinking about this association between the product and the seller. All right. So here you have an example of a product. If you look at the Alpha blog, which is another one, which this is the one we build in the complete Ruby on Rails developer, you have user, category, and article. So if you look at article, there you go, belongs to user. So you have the same association here. And this is between the user and the articles they create. So similarly, in your application, you're looking at user or seller and the products that they list. All right. Then slightly more complicated is the many-to-many association that you'd probably be looking at with categories. Now here in Alpha blog, you have has many article categories and has many categories through article categories. This is the implementation at the model layer of a many-to-many association between articles and categories. And this is done through a third table, which is article categories. And again, if you have confusion over this, if you're not in the complete Ruby on Rails developer course, if you're in the professional Ruby on Rails developer course, take a look at recipe ingredients table, okay? So in here, you have recipe, has many recipe ingredients, and has many ingredients through recipe ingredients. Now the other side of this implementation is ingredient. So if you go back to models, and if you look at ingredient.rb, there you go, has many recipe ingredients, has many recipes through recipe ingredients. Similarly, in Alpha blog, if you go back to models and you look at categories, then you'll have right here, has many article categories, has many articles through article categories. So there's the many-to-many association implementation. Depending on which course you are in, complete Ruby on Rails developer or professional Ruby on Rails developer, look at the GitHub repos for those 2 respective courses, and then you will find how to build this association. Now, at this point, I would recommend working solely on the back end of this. For example, in the professional Ruby on Rails developer, work on the model layer and also the database, okay, the database tables. So if you go to DB and if you look at the schema, you will see the tables that are there and what information they contain. For recipes, you have name, description. Similarly, you'll have product name, description if you want. These are the created at, updated at, and belongs to chef, okay, right here. Chef ID, I have another column. This is for the one-to-many association between chefs and recipes. So in your case, it would be between sellers and products, okay? And you're going to need to take a look at how to do a one-to-many association, which, as you know, is the most basic of associations. Very easy to do in Rails. So take a look at that. For the Alpha blog, this is going to be between, if I pull it up, the DB schema, this would be between articles and users. Okay? See how the articles table has user ID since we're using users. So that would be the starting point, working solely on the back end, not focusing on the front end right now. Get all the details together of what are the attributes you need for the tables and how to proceed from there. And then, as I do in the other courses, after that I add some styling or authentication depending on what you're comfortable with. And that would be the focus this week. And then I'm going to have another video next week where I discuss maybe the front end or maybe some of the marketing aspects, what I use to market myself, So in your case, it would be marketing the seller and getting some experience doing that, all right? I'll let you know some of the things I use to make things like my website and how easy it is to implement and the like. All right, so good luck on the first step. And if you haven't done so, please go to the submission link, the Google Doc. You can find the link here in my blog, in multiple places. Fill in your group name. And if you don't have other team members, find them in the course Q&A or go to the live chat and, list other people. Just say, hey, I'm taking part in the code challenge and I want to find others to work with me. Okay? So good luck and I'll see you next week.